Hello everybody, my name is Ella and I will be talking about creating a connected curriculum that meets the needs of our next generation. Let's get started. In this module EDU 40129, we have been actively engaging with one another to learn how to create a connected curriculum, a curriculum that is inclusive and respects all learners, a curriculum that is investing in all students, a curriculum that is actively engaging students in classroom activities, a curriculum that actively promoting active learning, active acquisition, retrieval and inquiry among the students, perhaps using various methods that includes technology. But why do we do this? To prepare our students for the global competence. And what is that global competence? Is the aptitudes, the attitudes, the skills, the ability, the behavior of our next generation that prepares them for the jobs of the future. We also have learned and put it into practice how to work together. And I just do not mean working together in one discipline. We learned how to work cross-disciplinary and provide feedback for one another, reflect on our own activities and teaching, and reflect how we can apply what we learned to our own discipline and engage our students. Another good thing that we engaged ourselves was enhancing this communication that we have with research and researchers, and take this learning and exercise into our own classrooms to actually allow our students to practice more this cross-disciplinary activity, getting closer to research and researchers by either reading research papers, having hands-on in research activities, watching video lectures such as Jove that actually brings closer the research environment to classrooms, and actually plant the seeds in their minds how the collaboration forms from earlier stages in their academic life, how this collaboration could lead into innovation and discovery later on, and a combination, and teach them that a combination of this education and research that would lead to innovation and discovery, and not alone, and what are the important values of working across disciplines and how we can enhance it now and in the future. But why is it important to create a connected curriculum, create that inclusive curriculum? Simply to help our students, the next generation, to succeed. But let's define that success. Is this success success that we are looking for? Is it just getting a good grade, a good mark, and graduate, put a biggest smile on their faces? Or is it preparing them for the jobs of the future? Is it preparing them for that global competence that we said? Is it our responsibility to actually provide them a platform to develop those skills, those aptitudes and attitudes, those behaviors that the world outside needs from them to actually allow them succeed in the job markets and achieve their goals? And I'm sure that you already have the answer for that. So it's not limited to that, this now and today and the academia and the grades for undergrads at the moment. I briefly talked about the importance of research and engaging students with researchers. Let's talk about the workplaces and providing experience for our students in workplaces. How about providing a platform, a collaborative platform with industry and with research organizations, not necessarily academia, other entrepreneur companies, that would allow students to gain some experience, to have a flavor of what is happening outside this bubble of campus, And therefore, by taking baby steps, by just including a couple of hours, not massively changing the whole curriculum, but thinking about options and a few hours here and there that could actually allow them gain some experience and get some ideas what is out there, to plan accordingly and to aim and develop those skills that they need for their career of their choice. Now that we talked about our students' success, should we think of limitation and boundaries, obstacles that might actually stop us from achieving this goal? First is identifying those limitations and obstacles. As I was observing and teaching in this academic year, I noticed that a lot of my undergrad students do not have a clear career goal. Some of them had a passion, a dream, but maybe no longer exist. Some of them do still have a desire, but they don't have a plan. Many of my students do not have that transferable skill or those transferable skills that workplaces require. Many of them are not familiar with different career options and opportunities. And a lot of them cannot even simply communicate with their own peers in their own classroom, let alone with the peers who is more senior or junior, because the curriculum design, at least where I am standing, is very limited and limits those activities. It's very cliche. It just ticks boxes rather than allowing students having that autonomy to design their own seminar series, to have their own talks, invite speakers from more senior colleagues or junior teams, engage and mingle with other disciplines, cross-disciplinary interaction to actually stimulate thoughts and generate new ideas. As I said, that would lead into innovation and discovery at some point in future, let alone thinking about workplaces. So should we give our students a degree of autonomy and support them? My answer is yes, but I would like you to reflect and think about it and open up the discussion afterwards. So we talked about the aims and objectives of creating a connected curriculum. We talked about the limitations and boundaries. Now let's talk about how to overcome these boundaries. We basically would like to create a connected curriculum that is inclusive, but also have this the needs of everyone in our cohort, the needs of our next generation, and all of our students at the heart and center. So should we simply promote active learning? Can we do more? Can we connect the students better than before? And by connecting the students, I do not just mean connecting them with their peers at level 5 to do teamwork and group-based learning, but also connecting them across the levels, talking to postgrads teaching undergrads, and undergrads giving seminars, or inviting speakers, outside speakers, or academic members in their seminar that they designed themselves. How could we enhance the cross-disciplinary topics and cross-disciplinary activities among our students? Should we allow certain degree of autonomy among the students? How could we bring research and researcher closer to our classrooms? Can we invite a speaker who is a researcher, active researcher, a postdoc, someone that is close to graduation, third year PhD, something like that? Could we actually arrange something that our students can actually go to places and visit industry for a half a day excursion, watching videos, nowadays particularly that we use online platforms? How could we enhance the digital literacy of our students? We talked about those limitations, that these are the areas that we need to work on. Is it enough to just provide them classrooms, or give a meaning to that digital literacy by actually switching to to use digital platforms, education technologies in classrooms. So they would learn as they learn their topics and major, rather than segregating technology from what the major they are studying in. And how can we enhance inclusivity as we're doing all these things, considering those with mental health disabilities, or those with visible and invisible disabilities? How could we create a curriculum that actually addresses everyone's need? In this spectrum that we talked about, students that might need more support from BAME groups, that might need a level of extra level of support to enhance their English, to enhance their vocabulary, to enhance their sentencing and comprehension, but also those students, helping those students who are actually at the top of their class, and therefore we prepare everyone for their dream jobs, rather than creating a very rigid stream of activities and modules, lectures, laboratory practicals, that there is no flexibility in them. So therefore, this way perhaps we could overcome some of these limitations. Let us pause for a second and think about our students' skills, the transferable skills that we talked about, and think, is it enough what we are doing? Think about whether our students' skills is underdeveloped, and if so, what can we do to enhance it? How can we prepare them for that global competence? What is that global competence from them that we are not currently preparing them for the jobs of the future, and what can we do? In this animation, you see a lecturer standing in the lecture theater and pose the question. After posing a question, everyone who actually taught in lecture theater, for medical students, 100, 200 students, we all well know that we can only capture one or two answers. There is no time, there is no means. Whether we are using the chalk and blackboard, or whiteboards and markers, or modern technologies such as overheads and projectors, there is a limitations that we can do. However, using education technologies and information technologies, if we engage with students properly, we can capture every single answer at a time. We can provide bespoke feedback for them, a timely feedback. This way we enhance the feedback literacy among our students. This way we enhance our abilities to actually engage better with every single one of our students. This way we enhance the digital literacy of our students without segregating the IT literacy from the topics they are studying. So actually it's buy one get one free situation if we could actually implement it in our classrooms. Would these skills help our students in their future career? I believe it would. Would it prepare them for that global competence, for the jobs of the future? I personally believe it would, but I would like to hear peers' comments and feedback, what they think, and put it into discussion as well. Personally, I taught in classrooms that actually helped students not only actively learn because of using the technology, but also use the educational technology to show them 5 minutes, just 5 minutes videos about the career that is engaging neuropharmacology, for instance, or then laboratory work when they are discovering a drug, or the laboratory work when it comes to treating stroke in models of disease, or testing a drug in vitro and in vivo. And that 5 minutes actually help the students to think about what is in the horizon and what kind of skills they do need to further develop to prepare them for their career of their choice. Other important things would be engaging students with the job markets, career opportunities, career options as we teach them applied and translational science. During a lecture, perhaps it takes less than 2 minutes when we flag a career option and opportunity. But this way, students would value the topic they are studying, and actually it gives them a bigger picture why they are studying this topic and what they can expect from it happening in real life and in the job market. Providing feedback, particularly early feedback, is important, but most importantly is tracing students and tracking them down and seeing, observing whether they have actually looked at their own feedback. We extensively studied this semester learning from assessment. Do our students learn from their assessment? How often do they look back at their feedbacks? How often they try to correct themselves? Other things we are doing is fine, and promoting active reading, reflections, inquiry, encouraging students to do critical thinking, providing critical appraisals, and so on. But what I have sensed from a student voice is perhaps a slightly, occasionally, sometimes, or a few times I observe, is misled. Instead of students actually actively engaged and participating in decision making for their own future, they're complaining about marks and that assignment was too difficult. Basically, they are insulting their own intelligence, or they are demanding better grades and better marks to go on correcting their marks, or put their marks on a curve and adjusting it, which is going to provide a temporary satisfaction, but down the line they will be suffering because they cannot compete with the real life situation, with the other graduates from other organizations who actually learned better and worked harder and were exposed to more difficult topics. One last thing I would like to add before I close this talk is that how often we need to revise our curriculum. Sometimes our curriculum might fit a specific generation. Sometimes a group of students needs a particular attention, and we need to bear it in mind. So we can actually customize it and revise it. If it's not every year, every other year, to look into it. How can we adjust it? And we can actually incorporate the student voice to adjust it and improve it as well. Last but not least, our students might become successful in the eyes of a society, have a good job, but they might not be happy and satisfied. Either not being successful or not being satisfied and happy or loving their job could lead into mental health disorders, something that has been extensively being studied in current years, recent few years, and there's a large budget from UK government to look into it. Why are postgraduate students particularly, and even undergrads in certain university, might be suffering from mental health? So by designing a connected and inclusive curriculum, we are going to minimize those unwanted adverse effects as well. Let us reflect for a couple of minutes and allow me to tell you some action plans that I will be taking for the design and development of my module in the next academic year. So we talked about creating a connected curriculum, a curriculum that is inclusive, a curriculum that has the needs of our learners, our students at the heart and center of its planning and design and development, and we talked about our students' needs, their skills that are somehow rather undeveloped. We addressed a few ways that we can overcome barriers and obstacles that should help us develop this connected and inclusive curriculum to better educate our learners. When it comes to the skills that we address might be underdeveloped, the digital literacy, the feedback literacy, the academic literacy, academic writing perhaps, sometimes we see there is a lack in it. There are ways to improve it, but honestly, I personally do not know why there is a lag. I've been working only one academic year here at Kiel, and I would like to explore it with areas that we could tweak to enhance the transferable skills among our learners. We also address the importance of employability, how to prepare our students for the global market, and how can we increase the how we can increase the aptitudes, attitudes, behaviors, and in addition to the knowledge and understanding of the topic, to actually prepare them for that global competence. I do not have a clear picture from about the employability of students at life sciences, and I ask, this is nothing new, I ask from the first month that I started, so over the past year no one knows exactly what's going on. Perhaps this is something I could explore more. I can tap into student union, other resources and colleagues to see what it looks like, to also consider steps that I could enhance my students, my learners' knowledge about the job markets and help them in finding a position, identifying their area that they are interested in, and take it from there. We also address the importance of combination of knowledge, understanding, and skills, but as much as it is important to have a student's voice in our curriculum designs, I mentioned that they are mainly focused on marks. The reason behind it, perhaps it's something global, something that employers, industry, or academia we always asks from the applicants, that what was your grade? Did you get a first grade? Did you get 4.1? Did you get 2.2 or less? And therefore, if you would like to create a culture of acceptance, perhaps a global approach is required, and it can't be one-dimensional. So we can't ignore the fact that marks and grades are still important, but we can flag it that there are things beyond just a mark and grade, and if students work hard towards those skills, knowledge, and understanding, the marks and grades would come with it. But again, still we do need to work on the global market as well, and how they perceive a good candidate. We also talked about assessments, and I just would like to highlight this outward facing assessment that was an inspiration to me, and I will be using the same approach for my students in neuropharmacology next year to allow them gain some verbal skills, verbal science communication skills, work as a team, small groups of 5 students, not much, but each group present a lecture, present presentation, a short 10 minutes presentation about a research paper. This way I will bring them closer to research and researchers, as Deli Fong suggested, and other literatures and pedagogy literatures that are encouraging us in creating a connected curriculum. And also it would allow students to enhance other transferable skills such as teamwork, time management at the same time as well. And this would take away the burden of writing written assessments all the time, which was specifically in this module heavily involved with assessing students at least 3 written essays, each 2,000 words, and 1 written journal comprehension test that was, again, wouldn't add anything to students, but in a written format. So hopefully, by doing minor changes and employing the things that I've done in this module, and I reflected on them, and I found them, they were successful, engaging, and exciting to do, and employ it in my module for the student undergraduate students. They would enjoy better, they would be exposed in more than one literature research paper, because they have to listen to each other's presentations. They will enhance their digital literacy at the same time, and overall I look forward to see what their inputs and feedback would be following this form of modifications of assessment as well. Here I stop, and I look forward to comments, criticism, discussions, chats, so feel free to contact with me and communicate with me, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you again. I just closed the talk by this quote from Confucius, who said, by three methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is the noblest. Second, by imitation, which is the easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. And I just wanted to say that during the module 40129 and EDU 40128, we continuously used reflection on every work we did and every work that our peers did, and I am eternally grateful for that. Thank you again, and look forward to the comments and criticism.